Good afternoon, everybody. Hopefully, everybody can hear me okay. Okay, I just got the heads up from somebody who's texting me to let me know. Thank you, Candace. Thank you so much. I'm so sorry. This is all. I mean, obviously, we're all in a very interesting time right now. So I am set up at home doing this from home. So I will apologize now if things don't flow as smoothly, just because this is my first time doing it without the comfort of my office. So hang on here. There are some people still logging in, so I just want to make sure. I'm going to give it about another 30 seconds to a minute here just to let people kind of flow in, and then we will get started. Okay, so we'll go ahead and get started. Thank you everybody for attending today. I know that the kind of the cloud hanging over everybody right now, as I'm sure you all are feeling as well, is just kind of what's going on in our country, and hopefully everybody is staying healthy and well. There are changes going on at Journey, and I can't thank you guys enough for kind of bearing with us through everything. This is uncharted waters. We are most certainly being thrown a lot of different curveballs from vendors and legislation and everything at this point. So we at Journey have been working endlessly to try and make sure that we stay up on everything, but also conform with what our vendors are kind of pushing us to do right now as well. So if there are, I just want to throw this out there, my contact info will be on the very last slide. If there's anybody right now struggling through some changes that we have had to implement or have questions on anything, please don't hesitate to reach out to me. Now more than ever, I want to make sure people are getting the resources they need, and that's why we're here. That's why we're your partner. That's why we, rely so heavily on, our partnerships with people, is just because we want to make sure that we're there for you. So if anybody does have any questions or concerns, please don't hesitate to reach out. With that, we will go ahead and get started. So as everybody is aware, there was a new W-4 released this year. It has been, to say it as best I possibly can, it has kind of been it's been like what this pandemic has done to our country right now. It has been the biggest change for people. It's been something that has generated a lot of questions, a lot of frustrations, which we fully understand, and I can appreciate most certainly that this is definitely causing a lot of unknowns right now. And so while we wanted to make sure that people kind of knew what it is and what's going on with it, I want to make sure I make this very clear. We are not giving advice on how to fill this out. We are not giving advice to people on what they should do. I will mention it a couple times throughout this webinar, but if you have specifics, anybody that has employees asking them, if you personally have a specific question on it, we encourage you to do your research or reach out to a tax professional, because we just don't know everything that goes on in your personal lives and situations like your tax preparer would. And so, I really encourage you to either use the tools that we'll go over in this webinar, or, reach out to your tax professional just to hopefully kind of get a little bit more information from them for you personally. With that, we'll go ahead and get started. So why did it change? That is, if I had a penny for every time somebody asked me why it changed, I mean, I could, maybe take a vacation after all this, but I digress. So the reason for the change was to hopefully try and streamline things a little bit more so that people could more or less break even during tax time. So in the past, old W-4s, you could claim married or single, or married but claiming single at the higher rate, and then you would list your dependents. We would see things come in from people that had, single and 10. And not necessarily that they had 10 dependents, right? They just would fill that out because a lot of people just knew or heard that, hey, if I put 10, I know I don't have very many taxes coming out. I get more of my money throughout the year, and then I go to do my taxes and I owe. And some people have the mentality of, hey, look, I want to hang on to my money throughout the year. And then if I owe, I owe. But a lot of people don't prepare for that. And it's hard to prepare for that when you don't know exactly what that bill is going to look like for you. So the idea of the new W-4 is essentially to hopefully kind of help even things out a little bit more. So it's mostly to help with incorrect withholdings on the W-4. So, you know, again, like if you're unsure of how to do this, consult with an expert. Don't guess. This is the worst. That is probably one of my biggest pet peeves with this, is that people have gone to guessing. You know, I think I should fill out this, or I think I should fill it out this way. And again, it's why we don't give advice at Journey on how to fill these out, because I don't know everybody's situation, but I most certainly cannot be responsible for paying everybody's tax bill either. So, you know, we always just kind of would give the cliche, you know, the more dependents you list, the less taxes, the less dependents, the more taxes being taken out, which means you likely won't have to owe at the end of the year. So everybody, and I'll reiterate this 100 times, everybody's situation is different. So, you know, it's best to kind of go through the form and do your own research for that. So the major changes, the number of withholding allowances section has been removed. A new marital status was added, head of household. Additional tax table was added as well. So lines for claiming exemption are removed. And additional adjustments for multiple jobs or for individuals or households. So this has been a huge change for sure, is that, you know, what other monies are you bringing in? What other income is not listed? What should be taken into consideration? So that was changed as well. Adjusting for multiple jobs. So when you work multiple jobs or your spouse works, you need to use the correct tax brackets for combined family income. If anybody has seen the new W-4, there are pages at the back with those brackets. So definitely go to the IRS and look at that W-4 if you haven't seen it yet. You have 3 different options to calculate this. So the IRS withholding estimator, the website is there on the slide. It calculates additional amount to be withheld per payroll. For families, only one earner adds this to line 4, so not both, okay? Page 3 of the form is a worksheet to calculate additional tax amounts. You can also find out, or it'll help you with additional amounts to be withheld per payroll. So that was another thing. If you guys remember on the old form, you did have that option to have an additional amount withheld. And then in our system, it was also an option to have an exact amount. So basically just overriding the system and saying, I don't want it to calculate based off my withholdings. I just know I need to have, you know, X amount withheld for federal and X amount withheld for state. So, and I know that the question is going to come up. It's come up since this has been released, but we have a lot of clients that have not filled out new W-4s, right? Because you've been in the system. How does that affect you? There's no switch in our system. When we onboard clients, when we build clients in, there is the option for the old W-4 and to use those calculations. So we're most certainly, you know, we still have that built in because we have a lot of clients that aren't going through and updating W-4s right now. However, we do have it built in to onboarding, which is a huge thing, which we'll go over down the road here on the slides. But we do have the option for both. You know, it's important that everybody kind of knows what's going on with the new W-4 to make sure they know how to calculate what their withholding should be. The checkbox in step 2, if there are only 2 jobs within the household, check this box to withhold at the higher rate. Both earners within the household should check this box on their form. Okay. Again, W-4 or the website, the IRS website will have a lot of information for this. Line 3, claiming your dependent. So claiming dependents is most certainly simplified on the new form. For anybody who's seen it, you'll understand what that means. It's for the households with an expected annual income below $200,000 for an individual and $400,000 for married or joint filers. The child tax credit for qualifying children under 17 is $2,000. So again, if you've seen the new form, you'll see where it says, dependent amount, and then you can enter in how many dependents. For other dependents, the credit is $500. Okay. These tax credit amounts should be entered on line 3 of the form. So again, if anybody has it in front of them and is following along, you'll know exactly where these different lines are. Line 4A, other income. So this is where you should enter full year non-wage income. This additional income is not already subject to withholding. This would include rental income, interest or dividends, etc. Okay, so it's anything else that you might be collecting income on. Rather than completing a worksheet to calculate an additional amount to withhold, this time simply ask the anticipated full year of the income. Line 4B, deductions. This is where you'd enter estimated full year deductions that are above the standard deduction amount. Okay, so single is $12,400. That's the standard deduction. Married joint filers is $24,800. This could include charitable contributions, state and local taxes up to $10,000, mortgage, interest, etc. These amounts can be calculated on the worksheet on page 3 and should be entered in on line 4B. So again, that worksheet is going to be huge for you. Okay, so really follow the instructions. Again, the IRS website, follow their instructions. It will help walk you through the worksheets and how to calculate these. The amount is then calculated into a per payroll amount. So that's what's kind of obviously helpful in figuring out what amount needs to be, or the correct amount, I should say, that needs to be withheld. And obviously, this portion is done by the employer, so our system does this for you. Again, if you're using our onboarding, that's the best and simplest way to get this done. 4C, additional amount to withhold each pay period. This is the only line that asks for a per payroll amount instead of annual. This is the line where you'd enter an amount you'd like to withheld in addition to the regular amount withheld depending on the tax tables. Again, those tax tables are going to come in super handy with this. If you used method 2 for line 2, adjusting for multiple jobs, this is where you'd enter that per payroll amount. Okay. Steps 1 through 5 are mandatory. So if you look at the new form, and I've seen a lot of forms come through via either people are filling them out and faxing them or emailing them in. People are writing single and 0, married and 2, whatever they want to write. We'll put in the system what you want us to put in. However, the last steps are mandatory. This is the name, the social, the address, the signature. It must be completed. I cannot accept a form. At Journey, we cannot accept a form if it is not filled out with their mandatory information. That is what we build into the system. That's how we know who is requesting what. So just make sure you have everybody fill those out. If you're turning them in, again, onboarding is your best friend with this, but just make sure if you are having somebody fill it out via paper that they fill out that last information. Without that, we will not accept it. So where can employees update their W-4? So if you have employees going into the hub, using the hub to update their information, entering it through hub, updating it through hub is the easiest, most accurate way to get this done. There is no option for forgetting to fill out certain parts or sections on the form. So have your employees use their hub account to update their W-4. This is the same account where they can go in and update direct deposit, address changes, contact information. They can update everything through there. So have them go through and do it this way. That's going to be the easiest, best way to do it. If anybody is uncertain, when they log into their hub, the initials on the top right-hand corner, that is where they can click to log in and start completing a new W-4. They'll enter, again, so it basically takes the paper form, makes it electronic so they can walk through each of these steps. It will ask them the questions. It will ask them about additional earnings and dependents and deductions. They also will get to e-sign at the very end so that this gets stored electronically that they did fill this out. They did go and initiate this change, and it obviously updates automatically in the system as well. As an administrator for your company, these are things that will come through your hub, and you need to make sure, if you're unsure of how they're set up now, you need to make sure you reach out to your payroll specialist to see how is it set up. Is it set up that I have to approve W-4 changes? A lot of our clients do not have their employees' W-4s set to have them approve the change. It'll just automatically go through. Normally, I would say, 90% of our clients, the only thing that we're having you guys double check is the direct deposit, because of how vital that is in case somebody's email were to get hacked, let's say. So just make sure if you're seeing those notifications come through that there's a task in the system that needs to be updated, make sure you get that updated. That's hugely important for making sure that people are getting paid correctly based on what they're filling out in the system. Okay. And here's some good resources. If you are looking for them, go to obviously our FAQ page on our website, irs.gov. That's going to have a huge amount of information for everybody. So, don't hesitate to be able to go use the resources that we have. And again, use your own resources as well. Use your CPA, use your tax accountant, use somebody who knows your situation better than I would. I'm not going to be able to give you information. And you guys, as employers or admins, you should not be giving information to your employees on how to fill this out as well. I think that is needs to be said, and everybody needs to take that seriously. You cannot have, you cannot be giving these employees advice on how to fill this out, because if they've taken your advice, they've filled it out the way you said, and then boom, you all of a sudden have somebody coming to you when they go to do their taxes, because guess what they owe, and guess who they're going to ask to pay it? It's going to be you. So keep yourself from giving any advice. Direct them to our website, direct them to the IRS website, direct them to their own personal CPA or tax accountant. That's going to be your best way. But I always say the IRS website is a huge resource for that too. And then, as always, these webinars are recorded. We'll be posting them on our webinars page under education. So please make sure you view that as well. If there's somebody, in your office that needs to see this or didn't get a chance to view now, please know, again, it is recorded. It will be posted, and people can go back and refresh through these as well. And with that, obviously, that wraps up our webinar here. Please, again, take note to my contact info should you have any questions. Like most of you, our worlds have been turned upside down recently. I want to also acknowledge that we know that you're all going through the same things that everybody else is. I know these are tough times. I know these are trying times. Please don't hesitate to reach out. Email, I will tell you, is probably best. I am calling into the office and retrieving voicemails as much as I possibly can. But emails are best. We are delayed a little bit in getting back to people, just as I know everybody is. We're just trying to keep on top of everything that's being released and make sure we get our clients the information they need in regards to COVID-19 just as quickly as possible. So if you haven't had a chance, we are pushing out on our social media and through our website. We're pushing out some really good information. So please use it as a resource. If you go to our website, journeypayroll.com, you'll see that there are links, there are videos that we've done with community members, clients, just great resources, but also all of the latest information is pushed out through the coronavirus link that's on there. So please make sure to check that out if you have any questions. And again, please take down my contact info. Email me if you have any questions. Again, I want to acknowledge, I know a lot has changed. I know a lot has gone on in the last 2 weeks, but we are here. We are here for you as a resource. We are here for you as a partner. And we want to be here for you for educational purposes too. So I will go ahead and wrap things up. If anybody has any questions, please, like I said, reach out. Otherwise, I hope everybody has a great rest of their day, a great rest of your week. Stay healthy and hang in there. I think that's the most important thing. Have a great day, everybody.